Welcome to the Jet Set Hers podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Jamie. We discuss travel, adventure, and everyday life. Listen with us and let's go somewhere.
Hi.
Yo, Jenny, what's up?
Ready to talk about today's episode, and I'm just going to jump right into what beer I'm drinking.
Okay, tell us.
So, totally on accident, I'm just so shocked at how perfect this was for today's episode. But it's by Great Divide Brewing, which is out of Denver, and it's called the Car Camper Hazy Pale Ale. So it's perfect for two reasons. One is today we talked to Kathy, who lives in an RV and travels the US. And two, it's 5%, so it's a lighter ABV. And we talked about, you'll hear later in the episode, how Utah has a 5% limit on beers you buy in like the grocery stores. So once I saw that that's what I was drinking today, I was like, how perfect.
All around perfect beer for today. And it's a hazy pale ale. So yeah, it's a all around perfect beer for today.
And it's a really cute can. There's like mountains and trees and little campers and a tent. Super cute.
Yeah, that's cool.
What are you drinking?
So today I'm having something out of the ordinary. I made myself, is right. I made myself a little margarita this afternoon.
Oh.
Got the best Patron, got some lime juice. I just made a little drink, some cubes on the rocks.
Little house-made.
Little house-made, little simple syrup.
Do you like salt on your rim?
I like salt on my rim, but I did not put any salt on the rim.
I'm not a huge salt on the rim girl, but...
Do you like sugar on the rim?
No, because I don't do well with sugar and alcohol.
Yeah,
it tastes good in the moment,
on the rim.
But you like regret it immediately, I feel. Yeah.
So just straight up nothing on the rim, huh?
Yeah. Well, fun fact, I can't really do margaritas anymore because the last two times I threw up after. So margaritas are not on my go-to list now.
That's probably best. You just stick to what you know then.
Yeah. But it's fitting because I'm going to go to the pool when we're done here, and I feel like it's a good margarita day. So
yeah. Well, cheers, Jenny.
Cheers. So, like I just said, we're talking to Kathy today, who is a full-time RV lifer, I guess as they say. And we just had a great time, and we're excited for you to hear.
Yeah, you guys hang out with us and Kathy.
Enjoy. All right. Happy to introduce our guest today. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. We're so excited to talk to you.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here and share some adventure stories.
Yeah, we love adventure and travel, and that's what you've been doing a lot of, so I think we'll get along great.
Perfect.
So tell us about yourself. We'll start with that.
Awesome. So I'm a plant-based lifestyle coach and the author of both the 30-minute whole food plant-based cookbook as well as the super easy plant-based cookbook. And I help people transition to the plant-based lifestyle that they aspire to without the stress and overwhelm in the kitchen. And, I do all of that from the road. So I'm really excited to share how that all fits into my adventures.
We are too. So I guess tell everyone about your RV life.
Yeah, I'd love to. So we've been on the road for about 2.5 years. My husband and I sold our house in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in October of 2018, moved into a fifth wheel RV. It was, fun fact, our first RV. We'd camped with friends in tents and maybe a little, Class C, but we'd never had something that we towed with our own vehicle or even considering living in. And we've been on the road for 2.5 years. We love it. And we are fueled by the amazing sights of the country that we get to see. People often ask us, oh, how long are you doing this? And I'm like, we're going to go as far as we can see. And when we get there, we'll know when it's the right time to either continue on or maybe set up roots. But spoiler alert, we're not looking at roots anytime soon.
Right. I was going to say, when you stop having that urge to see more and more, that's when you'll know it's probably time to maybe find somewhere. But
until then.
Yep. The roads are home. It's fun.
That is fun. And so you basically learned as you did it too, in the moment, learning.
We did everything from, draining tanks to storing, everyday things that we take for granted, right? I mean, we've had our fair share of, let's call it, adventures or catastrophes, I suppose. We've opened up the slides to find an entire cabinet emptied on the countertop and glass everywhere. A couple weeks ago, we were traveling and one of the cabinets opened and a lid was like wedged under the slide. And I'm like, this is not good. This is just not good. So we've had all of those, weird, crazy things, but we've also had amazing, amazing adventures. And, even just pulling into a campsite and setting up to actually like camp is really different from, pulling in for a week of work. So we really try to vary up the, tasks that we do each week, or the way that we engage in our campsite and just enjoy it.
I guess that makes sense.
So do you plan out like where you're going to go like far in advance, or is it kind of just let's see what's happening next month?
So it's interesting, actually. When we first hit the road, our journey really started in July of 2018 when we met with our real estate agent. We'd already been looking at RVs, and we had kind of picked the one that we bought. It's a 35-foot fifth wheel. It has a huge kitchen and living area. So it was perfect for, my recipe YouTube videos and just to be able to continue our passion for cooking.
Right.
So we listed our house to sell in August. And then in September, we had our big garage sale and received an offer on our house. So our transition happened really fast. And I remember sitting in my house calling campgrounds in Florida for that first winter and them being like, honey, you should have booked a year ago. And I was like, oh. And that was really my first taste of those hot spots, those places that you really want to go, really need to be planned a little bit in advance. And we're not 35 feet isn't the biggest fifth wheel. I mean, there's some that are 44 feet long. So we do fit in most of the parks, but sometimes it's easier to book early so that you can get those prime spots, or maybe a pull through if it's a short one. So we usually book our anchor spots in advance and then kind of filter them in a couple months in advance with, the parks along the way so that we can check out new places as we're going. That avoids any cancellation fees if we change our mind, but also allows us to get a site that's, reasonably priced at a park that we want early enough to know where we're going.
Right. And I'm from Florida, so I definitely know they get all the snowbirds coming down every winter, and they do it every year. So they have it reserved, way in advance.
Years in advance. I mean, some people are like, oh, we've been coming here for 6 years. We're always booked. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had another RV family on here before, and she was saying the same thing about Florida specifically, was that they actually did plant roots in Florida just because Florida was so hard to get the space in.
Yeah, I think if you're willing to be a little flexible and move a little bit more frequently, you can definitely find spots last minute. One of our challenges is that we do work, Monday through Friday. So we typically move on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So we are a little bit more, we have a little bit more in parameters as far as when we can move. So that's why booking a little bit earlier is important.
Right. And I'm one that has to plan like in advance. I'm a planner. And so I would have to know like, we're going to stop here for 4 nights. And I know life doesn't always, allow that to work out, but I would need to have a very set itinerary.
Yeah, I like to plan too. I like to know where I can, do laundry and
Oh yeah.
ship any packages that I may need and things like that. Cause those are all logistics that you really need to have in advance.
So when you're moving around, do you try to mainly stay in like national parks, or do you just kind of look at any campgrounds?
So we actually usually stay outside of the national parks in the campgrounds due to cell service. So we found early on that cellular service is not always accessible in the national parks, and we require that for our jobs. So we tend to stay outside the parks. For example, we're about 30 minutes right now from Bryce Canyon National Park, at a really, really nice campground. It's cute. They have great laundry. And so when you find a place like that, it has all the comforts of home for your home. And then it's easily accessible to the national parks, which are just a drive away.
Right. Do you try to look for like places with a pool and stuff? I feel like I would do that.
I do like parks with a pool. I always joke that we're chasing flip-flop weather. So it's always pool weather. And I do prefer the parks with the pool. Some of the other comforts of home that you don't really take, that we often take for granted, like a laundry room on site. We were at a really cool park in Tucson that had a library. They had an ice maker where you could actually get cubed ice. And it was just really, really neat, the different things that you encounter throughout our travels at these parks.
Right. And meeting people. I'm sure you meet a ton of people.
Yes. We've met some amazing people, some people that we've been friends with now for 2 years. I mean, we met them in our early adventures in Florida, and we've met up with them on the road and share more travel stories and send pictures when we're in different places. So it really is fun to connect with other people who are either traveling or even some of the park owners. We stay in places sometimes for upwards of a month or two. And so we meet the people at the parks, the workers who, often will work for 6 months and then work at another park. So we're able to kind of catch up as they travel as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
What would you say was the biggest motivation for starting this new journey?
For us, it was really about travel and really about recreating our definition of the American dream. I mean, when we first started talking about this, we kept saying one day, one day, one day. And we found that we could push it off for years. And it may come to where we never get to go. I mean, life's short. People don't always get to do the things they want to do due to illness or, other circumstances that come up. So for us, it was really recreating that definition and really looking at how we wanted to spend our lives and what we wanted to spend our money on. And it was really about creating adventure and creating memories that would allow us the flexibility to see all of these amazing places without having to do, PTO time and vacations and, trying to decide between, do we go see our family for a vacation time or do we go travel? And so for us, it really just works. And now we can spend, 6 weeks with our family all at once. We really get to know everybody and really spend quality time. And then we move on to the next destination and really inspire others to just get outside and enjoy what the country has to hold, what, these amazing sites that Mother Nature created. I mean, it's unreal, some of the places that we've been.
Which we will get to. So I saw on your website, like your goal of travel. Do you want to explain that?
Yes. So our goal of travel is really about creating this lifestyle that we don't need a vacation from. So it's really about hitting all of the states, hitting all of the national parks, and really being able to, embrace each one for its uniqueness and just really getting out of our comfort zone. We were huge foodies, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later. We love going to restaurants. We love eating food. We love just being out and seeing the sights. And this lifestyle just affords that for us. We're able to work in our RV, just like a normal person working remotely. And we're also able to explore in the evenings or on the weekends. And it's the perfect marriage of lifestyle for us.
And you probably don't feel that stress of a work week like you would going home to a house every day.
Right. Sometimes I find it's harder to turn off when you're working remotely because, that computer's right there. You can see who's on, what emails come through. And so I really do try, especially lately, to take my weekends and really focus on the adventures and really focus on time with my husband that's outside of work and just embracing the culture of wherever we are.
So I know national parks are a big thing on your list of travel. Did you have like certain ones that you were like, we have to go to these?
In the beginning, I'm going to say we kind of took the national parks a little for granted. And maybe it was because we just didn't know the sheer beauty and uniqueness of each of the parks. You know, one of the things that we learned that first winter in Florida is that there's so many state parks and so many places to get outside. We really didn't know, you know, how this lifestyle would work. We knew that in most of the national parks, your RV had to be under 35 feet to be able to even drive in some of them. And at first we were like, oh, wow, we could just park at all these national parks. But then we learned the cellular service situation. And it really kind of had us take a step back and say, we're going to pass by all these awesome places. We need to set that as a goal. And so it was a year after that my parents actually gifted us the National Parks Pass and a passport book. And so now it's all about filling that passport book with stamps. It's like I equate it to people who get their US passport or their country passport and they just want to fill it with stamps. Like, That's us. I'm like, ooh, there's a national monument down the road. We got to go there. So
what a great gift.
Was.
Yeah,
it was an awesome gift. I highly recommend it if you know people who travel, you know, and I'm not sponsored by the National Park Service. I'm just saying, like, it's a great gift because it pays for itself within just a couple of trips.
Right. And then it gets you excited even more while you're out on the road. Like, okay, ooh, let's go here. Let's go here. It's engaging. It's really fun.
I want that passport.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's so fun.
Jenny, we'll have to get that for each other.
Yeah. We might not tick off the list as fast as you will be, but we can still slowly get to all of them, I'm sure.
Yes.
Where are the coolest places you would say this has taken you so far?
Wow. So far we've been to 17 US states. And when I say been to, we've slept there. Like, we've passed through a couple, but I don't count those because we didn't stay overnight.
Fair enough.
And I mean, we've gone everywhere from Western New York all the way to Key West, which was incredible. In fact, I always say that one of the most unique national parks that we've been to, and ironically, our first one with the passport book, was the Dry Tortugas, because you had to take a boat or you could fly in a seaplane, but you had to get transported out there to this amazing historic fort, and the water is crystal blue. I mean, it's completely breathtaking and definitely one of the most unique national parks. So it was cool that was our first one.
Wow.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I've only ever seen a picture of it, so yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing. It was a lot of fun too. You can hike and go explore the park and you can snorkel and there was all these cool fish. It was really neat. And now we're all the way out in Utah. It's our first trip west with the RV. So we're the furthest west we've ever been. And we actually hiked the hoodoos at Bryce Canyon National Park over the weekend. And I think that it pushed itself to the top hike we've done so far in the national parks. It was stunning. I mean, I was speechless.
I don't think I know that hike.
Wow.
So what kind of hike is it? Is it like up a mountain or?
So all the parks in Utah are canyons. So you actually start at the top of the canyon and you take switchbacks down. And I don't even remember, but it felt as if we just kept going down and down and down into the canyon. And you get down and you go through this tiny little slot canyon, it's vast going up. And it opens up to this like greenery and there's trees growing and you're like, wait, this is in the bottom of this canyon. And then you make your way around and then it's back up the side of the canyon to the top. So it's the Navajo Loop. It was only 1.5 miles, but at 8,000 feet elevation, it was definitely a challenge for me.
And how long have you been in Utah?
We've been in Utah for 3 weeks. We started in Kanab, which is just outside of Zion.
Mm-hmm.
So we visited Zion National Park as well, which was awesome and breathtaking too. We actually did the drive through, and then y'all will appreciate this. Next to the visitor center, you can actually park and hike your way out of the park over to Zion Brewery
Ooh.
to indulge in a little adult beverage. So
we'll have to put that on our list.
Very nice.
We had the Zion Brewery Echo Canyon IPA. We're IPA fans, so it was really good,
right
and fun. Yeah. And then you just take your national park pass back out with you so that you can get back in. Right. And then you can just hike through the park, or finish your drive or whatever. It was really fun.
What a perfect
That's
hike.
Super cool.
Like, you're not hiking to a waterfall, you're hiking to a brewery.
Right?
And then you can hike it off afterwards.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That was what we did. We parked pretty far away from there and then just wandered our way down and did some little exploring along this little creek. It was beautiful.
And you would say you prefer Bryce Canyon over Zion?
Yeah, Bryce Canyon was just, the hoodoos are these fascinating spires of rock that are formed due to I'm going to get really sciencey, the change in climate. So it gets really cold at night and really hot during the day. And so then the water contracts and expands. And so these formations are just amazing. I think hoodoo means bewilder, and they're just, it leaves you speechless. They're just incredible.
I don't think I've heard of this park, and I was born in Utah, so I'm kind of like, I need to look this up now.
No, definitely Bryce is on my list. I have like a list of a couple states out west, and like certain things that I have to do, and Bryce and Zion are both on there. So excited for you. Like, oh, that sounds so great.
Thanks.
Yeah. Have you done Arches? Are you anywhere near Arches?
So no, we're actually going up the western side of Utah. So we're actually missing Moab, Arches, and Canyonlands. But we did do Zion. We are at Bryce, and then we're headed up to Capitol Reef National Park. And then we'll move on to north of Salt Lake City, and then up to our big anchor destination for the end of the summer.
And that is?
That is Glacier National Park.
That's what I was expecting to hear.
Awesome.
That's on my top of the list.
We didn't even know, when we first started adventuring, we didn't know, but it's definitely been the most recommended national park when we talk to other travelers. And so we booked the closest campground a year in advance and just got on and got because they are doing ticketed entry for the Going to the Sun Road.
Right.
So we have that. We have our national park pass.
Yay.
And then after more research, we realized that our full-size pickup truck, which is our tow vehicle, is too long to take on the winding roads of the Going to the Sun Road. So we actually rented a side-by-side ATV to take up the road. So we're very eager to get up there and hike and photograph and really explore that park, because it's probably been top of list for 2 years, and to be able to have we're, I think, 5 minutes from the entrance. We're so excited.
That's going to be incredible.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye out for those pictures too.
Wow.
Yes.
I had a friend that just spent 6 months in Glacier National Park. He was working there for 6 months, and he just came back home. We're in Michigan, but seeing pictures on his Facebook, and absolutely stunning. So I am so excited for you. That's going to be so great.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited.
So when do you plan on being in north of Salt Lake?
We'll be we're doing the Tetons. And that will be the beginning of July. And then we'll make our way up to Glacier for the end of July, beginning of August. And then as we come back down, we're going to hit Yellowstone. And then it is a mad dash to Florida for the winter. I say mad dash, but really it's 30 hours, which is for us is 10 travel days, because we only travel about 3 hours a day.
Wow. Yeah, mad dash is right then.
And we'll have
Book
to
it.
talk because I'm gonna be in Utah at the very end of June, the first 4 days of July. So I
Ooh,
wonder how far. Yeah. We're staying
definitely.
in Eden, which is like in the mountains, like east of Ogden area. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
definitely. I
Yeah.
know.
I've already been looking up all the breweries around to check out. So
So, fun fact about Utah, the breweries, wait, let me see if I get this right. The restaurants and grocery stores can only sell beer that has an ABV of 5%. In order to get beer over that, you have to hit the state liquor stores.
I have heard that.
Wow, I did not know that. Okay.
So,
Too
So
strong for them.
yeah.
Like, nope, you got to go
Well,
get that at a specialty
the
store.
fact that they even have breweries now, I feel like they've come a long way.
Right.
So
yeah. And honestly, the beers that we had at the breweries that were 5% have been really, really good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining that I can, enjoy an IPA that's not a, double or triple that's going to knock me out before I finish the
right.
pint, right? So,
Definitely.
Especially with the altitude being somewhat new to it. Yeah. Because it can kick you on your butt.
yes, definitely.
Fun fact about Colorado, I just moved here a year and a half ago ish from Florida. And so you can get beer in the grocery stores now, but they just did that within the last 2 years. You had to go to a liquor store for anything. In wine, you have to go to a liquor store. You can't buy it in a store.
Wow.
Florida, you can buy everything. You can buy liquor in some grocery stores. So that was a
That's how
weird
it is here.
adjustment. Yeah.
Those different laws are something that we definitely learn and encounter as we're traveling. Some states have
I
blue
bet.
laws, so they don't sell alcohol on Sundays or before
Yep. I
noon.
ran into that too.
Yeah, I bet.
So you just have to, I mean, if you're going to the grocery store and don't want to make 2 trips, you just pay attention to that, or
Yeah.
you have to go back.
Where I lived in Florida, there was this small town and it was a very religious little town, and I went to the Walmart at like 12:30 at night and tried to buy a bottle of wine, and they were like, "Nope, it's Sunday." And she just snatched it out of my hand and put it behind the counter. She's like, "It's not legal." And I was just like, "Okay." Like, but it was so weird because
You're
if you
like,
drive 10 minutes down the road, you can. So it's like it was so weird.
yeah. And it's never your intention to
Right.
offend anybody or to
You just
break
don't
the
know.
rule. You just don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I didn't even think about that driving across the country. You kind of almost have to do a little research every time you stop somewhere new. What are the major laws that I don't want to break?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any other crazy places that you've encountered that you maybe didn't expect to encounter?
I wouldn't say crazy. I would say that some places have really far exceeded our expectations. We definitely have found that we enjoy small towns and, you know, cute little grocery stores and, parks with some campgrounds and parks with some, unique characteristics, or, some people would even say they might be a little kitschy. Like, we like the parks that are unique and have a little bit of charm to them. We found some really cool parks in Florida that are that way. I sometimes they're a little bit older, but they have these unique characteristics that haven't. I don't know. They're just not like those big city RV resorts that you see that are. We went to one that had over 800 sites. They had every
Wow.
activity at every hour of the day that you could ever imagine. And, that's so different from these quiet little parks that we go to that, are just weekend campers where all during the week it's quiet. And then Friday night rolls in and you've got like parties at every site. It's interesting to kind of see the dynamics change as we move across the country. Some cool places we've been at parks that have stages. So we saw the Eli Young Country Band and
Oh, wow.
38 Special at an
That's
RV
cool.
park. Yeah, it was kind of fun.
That'd be cool.
Definitely songs that like, growing
Yeah.
up, my
Oh, yeah.
parents listened to 38 Special and all that. So it was like I knew the songs.
Same. I would have been singing along too.
I used to love the Eli
Yeah.
Young band too. That's funny.
Yeah, it was so cool that they were there. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was just neat.
Did you know they were coming, or was it just kind of like, oh wow, what a coincidence?
We booked before we knew But then we were excited when we saw
Yeah,
that we were going to be
definitely.
there. We were at that park for a month, so we saw a couple of concerts. Like we went to one park that had food trucks every Monday.
Yum.
So it just
Cool.
depends, like different things that you might not expect.
And it's really cool that like the camp people can set that up for you guys, like stages, food trucks. It's so cool.
Yeah, it definitely adds to like this different ambiance with, the different events at the campgrounds, and just kind of allows, it also brings people together, which I really
Yeah.
like. It allows you to meet other people.
Hmm. Well, and I never realized how much campgrounds are like a resort in itself, just with like a lower overhead cost, I guess. But still, doing the activities, the amenities,
Yeah.
all that. Well, especially in this day and age with, everything getting a rating, you want to be able to be better than the one down the road. So,
Right.
Definitely. And those unique amenities are definitely a draw for
Mhm.
people who might want something different than the one down the road.
Right. Especially someone that's been on the road a lot and you see, oh, this one has food trucks every Monday. Like, heck yeah. Or this one has concerts, even better.
Right.
So, to switch topics a little bit, let's talk about your books a little bit.
I'd love to. So I've been plant-based for about 7 years, and last June, so about 8 months ago, well, yes, it's more than that now. Oh my goodness, it's almost a year. So about a year ago, I had the opportunity to author the 30-minute whole food plant-based cookbook. It is over 100 recipes with whole plant food ingredients, so no animal products, and then also very little refined and processed ingredients. So I like to call it like a cleaner vegan diet. And right after that, I had the opportunity to author the super easy plant-based book, which is very along the same lines with the cleaner vegan diet or the cleaner plant-based way of eating. This one specifically breaks the recipes into 4 categories, 4 super easy categories: no cook meals, 5 ingredient meals, 30-minute meals, and one pot meals. So all of them are super easy. If I can write these cookbooks in an RV, anybody can cook these recipes anywhere else, because my space is limited and I'm the dishwasher. My 2 hands are the dishwasher. So
Right.
if I can make this work, anybody can.
And that's really convenient because when I was doing research on you and I saw like the vegan lifestyle, I was like, that has to be a lot of work and planning if you're in an RV, but you have that down. So,
I do. And, we don't always go to the same grocery store. So it definitely does require a little bit of planning ahead, especially for any ingredients that may be more challenging to find or
Mhm.
may be, available at something like Whole Foods, but might not be available at your hometown grocery store. So we do order online if we can, which is why package shipping logistics is always a fun little puzzle to work through. But we also eat a lot of just simple meals, things that can be purchased at your grocery store. We're in this tiny little town, like I said, in Utah, and they have the cutest grocery store, and their produce is so good that we're eating a lot more, veggies for snacks. And we made our own hummus and, a lot more beans and potatoes and rice versus, and we don't eat a lot of processed vegan food anyway. So it's not as challenging to find different ingredients along the way. It's more those specialty items like nutritional yeast or tahini, like those things that, I guess I wouldn't say they're requirements, but we enjoy them as part of our plant-based way of eating. So it does take a little planning.
Do you have your favorite recipes from your book?
I definitely do. So my favorite recipe from the first book, the 30-minute whole food plant-based one, is the farro picnic salad. So it's basically like that home style, mom style pasta salad that you would have with that yummy vinaigrette dressing. And we leveled it up and made it a little bit more plant-based with using farro, which is a whole grain. And we made our own oil-free Italian dressing. So we mixed that up, that cooked farro mixed with all these veggies. It's like that cold summer salad that you you just want in your fridge all the time. And then the recipe from my second cookbook are the chickpea El Pastor tacos. They are chickpeas, onions, and pineapples roasted together on a sheet pan. It's a one pot meal mixed with lots of spices and, pineapple juice and lime juice and all of that. And then you eat it in tacos and it's so good. The savory spice with that sweet pineapple just takes it over the edge. It's probably my favorite.
That sounds delicious. And funny you say that because I make a chickpea taco too. Not as yummy and delicious as that, but we have made chickpea tacos here too. Yep, I roast them a little bit. Little bit of olive oil, paprika, cayenne, salt and pepper, just like a quick little sear, get them hot, get them like a little cracked a little, and put them right in the taco with like lettuce, tomato, onions.
Yes, that sounds so delicious. I'd have to say that tacos are my favorite meal. So
ours too.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can be put in a taco.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I loved your recipe. That sounds so easy and so delicious. And lettuce, tomato, onions. I mean, who doesn't love all that?
Just
Right,
easy
I love it.
peasy, just like an old school regular taco. Just switch out like your protein with chickpea. I've also we do potato tacos sometimes too. Yeah, potato tacos are really good. I got my cousin turned on to them too. She's making them all the time now. And it's so easy to put your potatoes right in the air fryer. We have like a small little one. I mean, dinner's so quick. Potato tacos, yep, I swear by them.
Yes, I love potato tacos. Were one of the first like plant-based tacos that I was like, yeah, I could eat plant-based if we're gonna eat things like this, like carbs on carbs. Like who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
I love potato tacos.
Heck yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to make potato tacos this week.
I haven't made them
Yeah.
in a while, so I'm gonna have to make them up soon too.
I guess I will
now that
too,
we're talking
okay.
about them.
I don't want to be
Yeah,
left out.
Jenny, join the party.
So I did read that you were searching for the best like vegan restaurants at one point. Do you have like any that just still stick out in your head?
So one of the things that I can say one of the adventures that kind of fueled this too was our love of food. And we talked a little bit about that. We had this one trip that we took from Pittsburgh. We were still living in a house and just drove our car to Chicago, and we ate around Chicago. I mean, we ate all the way there. We stopped at restaurants. We ate all around Chicago, and then we ate all the way home. And, it really stands out to be this like memorable trip before RVing. And we've had some stays in different places, Fort Lauderdale, our first winter being one of them, where we've really just dined at all of the vegan restaurants. And so many of them have been so memorable in places that we really love. And so a couple that really stand out, it's called the Yellow Green Farmers Market in Fort Lauderdale. And we had some really good food there. They have baked goods, they have meals that you can eat right there. It was just a lot of fun to visit that. Recently, we were in Tucson and we enjoyed Butte Burger. What I love about them is that they make their own veggie burger patty, like in-house. It's not one of the processed ones, which is really important to us since we've been cleaning up our diet and just eating more unprocessed foods. I'm trying to think back to some other ones. Usually our favorites are restaurants with vegan tacos. I know. I knew you're totally surprised, right? We went to a really cool one in Shreveport that had these, like, you got just 3 different types of tacos and they were all really good. Mix and match the different ingredients. And then just recently also, we were in Sedona, Arizona, and we went to a tamale place that had vegan tamales. They were out of this world. They were so good, so flavorful, and they inspired us to come home and make our own tamales.
That's awesome.
That all sounds good.
I love going to restaurants that inspire you to like come home and recreate it because I've been to so many restaurants that I do the same thing. Like I come home and it was so good, I try to make it my way. So it always sticks out, a restaurant like that. You can always take that memory home and you'll have that memory forever, I feel like, because you're always like, remember that one time? Remember that one time?
Yeah, definitely.
You'll remember the flavor, even if you haven't had it in so long. You remember that flavor. Oh.
And a lot of times it's those small restaurants that may not be fully vegan. They may just have intentional vegan items that they put their heart and soul into. And it really makes it even more special because, they're trying to appeal to all dietary preferences, I suppose.
Yeah.
For lack of a better way to describe it. So it's really just, you can tell when there's heart behind the meal and it's not just another order. So we love to look for restaurants like that.
I'm not vegan, but my roommate in Florida was, and so I would go with her to all the places in Orlando. And my favorite one unfortunately closed down with COVID, but they had loaded nachos that were so good. They had tempeh on them, and they made their own ranch. I think that's what made it, was the ranch. Oh, I still dream about that.
Yes, we did like the restaurants in Orlando, Ethos and
Yep, we used to go to Ethos every Sunday for brunch.
Ethos is really good.
So I know obviously you're going to be traveling around the US for years to come, but do you have plans on like going international at all?
So we talked about doing North America and going up into Canada and going into Mexico. Obviously, that's easy with the RV. But we actually have considered even doing like Airbnb travel where we continue to work, remotely from wherever we are. We just go and stay in Airbnbs in different countries. And like, I would love to rent an RV and do, Australia or New Zealand, or even rent an RV and do Hawaii to kind of get out and just explore sometimes. And I think back to like the places that I've traveled in the United States by airplane, like there's just something different about getting in the car and driving between the cities and between the destinations that makes the journey even more exciting. Like my husband and I were talking about our drive from Kanab to where we are now in Utah. And it was so incredibly beautiful. Just, you're driving kind of out of that like Red Rock deserty kind of area. And now you're into these higher elevations with all this greenery and all these trees. And it's just so interesting to kind of see the like climate and the environment around you change as you're
how different everything is. Yeah,
as you're driving. I mean, it's just different.
I actually love driving. I don't mind flying either, but when we're going to Utah next month, we're actually driving. Like I'm flying my dad here, and I'm like, instead of us trying to find flights, we'll just drive. It's a 7-hour drive. I'm like, it's not bad. And it's going to be gorgeous too, I'm sure. Like around the mountains and everything.
I have a little road trip at the end of October with my friend. We're going to a wedding, and it's just in like Arkansas or something like that. It's like a 10-hour, 11-hour drive, so it's not bad. But I'm really excited because I'm just like you. I love road trips. Like there's to me, yeah, I'll fly if I have to go, wherever, quick. I don't have much time. But if I have a preference, I have all the time in the world. I'm gonna drive because there's nothing better than seeing. Yeah, you're gonna miss all that in the airplane.
Definitely. And that's one of the things that I think we didn't even really think about was the points on the journey really create experiences and memories too. And you just don't even think about it. And fun fact for us, we actually RV with 3 cats. So our cats actually travel in the truck with us, which, that's an adventure as well.
Right.
And I'm surprised none of them have popped up here to say hi, but they must be sleeping.
Do they just love looking out the window in the journey?
They do. That's their favorite thing. They love to look out the window. Every time we get to a park and we let them into the RV, they just run from window to window to see where the trees are and if there's going to be birds. And
where are we at now? Where are we at now? Where are we at now?
They're like the most traveled cats, right? The most well-traveled cats. They've been everywhere.
I was going to say they're probably more traveled than most people in the US. So.
Yeah.
So a couple last questions for you. Kind of the same question in 2 different ways. What's your biggest RV bucket list destination?
So definitely Glacier is top of our list for a bucket list. And then honestly, Key West was really top of list, like to ride, I'd been to Key West, I'd driven down US 1 in a convertible, like I've done the things, right? But to ride in the truck, towing the RV over the 7-mile bridge, I was not driving. I don't have a truck. That was my husband's job responsibility. Like that was such a big accomplishment and just such a fun adventure, and really to get down there. And we biked around Key West and we went to the Dry Tortugas. And then I would say Alaska is really top on our list, but we definitely, Jenny, you talked about being a planner. Like for Alaska, I really want to have it planned. I really want to make sure that the RV that we take there, it may not be this one, is really like equipped to handle, the different terrain and things like that, and really allows us to maximize our time up there. And then Acadia National Park in Maine is also top of list. I really think it's like these parks that have these dramatic, unique features that really draws us to them.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, one that we didn't talk about that I think is overlooked a lot is Big Bend National Park. We spent about a month outside of Big Bend in a little town called Alpine. It was about an hour and a half to the visitor center, or the entrance, the ranger entrance for Big Bend National Park. But we actually went down to Big Bend several times because we loved it so much. It was just such a neat park because right in the middle are these huge Texas mountains that you just don't expect to be down there. And so we were able to do several hikes and really, experience that national park probably more than we have with a lot of the other ones because we were there for so long. And I feel like it is often overlooked because it's just so far out of the way that people often will just drive past, and not make it there. And it really is, I would say, in our top 5. So, wow. And now we've only seen 14 national parks, but out of the 60, I think there's 63. I was
about to say, I don't even know how many there is. Dang.
Yeah, I think there's 63, but then you've got national monuments and national seashores and national historic. I mean, like there's so many different acronyms that they have now. So we're focusing on national parks, but we will hit up a national monument if there's a spot in the passport book for a stamp.
Right.
All about that stamp.
All right. And then the big one, do you have an international bucket list destination?
Wow. I mean, there's so many places that we want to go. I mean, I'd love to go to Paris. I'd love to go to Italy. I'd love to go to the Maldives. I'm all about beach and flip-flop weather. So any of those beachy places. I have not been to Mexico, so I'd love to go down, I'd love to go to Mexico, Tulum, all those places. I feel like a lot of the places on my list are like the popular ones that everybody wants to go to because that's what I'm exposed to normally.
Right.
So, as I would start to plan international places, I definitely would look for more of those unique places that, might be off the beaten path or might be places that I haven't gone yet. And then I'm really into like the mountains too. So I want to wear my flip-flops, but have a mountain view.
Yeah. Is it asking too much?
Right. So even just, I say international, even like up into the Canadian Rockies and places like that, that would just be really cool just to see those parts of the world.
I mean, everywhere's on my list. So I agree with all those, but
same.
It's really hard to just narrow down your places that you want to go. I mean, it's hard enough to like plan a path and make a commitment to, where we're going to go in this segment of, the next 6 months or the next year. Like, I mean, our route changes all the time. We're like, you know what, we should really go this way. Or, we're leaving Glacier. Are we going to do North Dakota, South Dakota? Are we going to, where are we going to go? So it really is like a commitment to plan your route because once you book your sites, I don't really want to cancel. So.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to cover?
No, I'm just grateful that we got to get on here and talk about adventures and tacos and all my favorite things, road trip, tacos, adventures. I mean, is there a better conversation than we could have had today?
And we added kitties to it. We're good.
Yes. I mean, it's the lifestyle that everybody wants, right?
Exactly. I'll just have dogs in mine and they take up a lot more room, but it's okay. Make it work. But thank you again so much, Kathy. This was so much fun. We didn't have a beer yet, but we'll try to have a beer in person eventually with you. So, oh, and that was my other
Absolutely.
question. Have you been to Rocky Mountain National Park yet?
Not with the RV, but I
Okay.
personally have been to Rocky Mountain National Park. But
Well,
we
you'll have to
haven't
let me
been
know
visiting.
if you plan it because I live like an hour away from it. So definitely.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
Colorado is on our site. So we're
Yeah.
hoping to spend a whole summer just exploring that
Oh,
western
it's so
Utah,
easy. Yeah.
Colorado area. Or
So-
eastern
Awesome.
Utah, Colorado.
Mhm. So definitely let me know about that. But again, thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Thank you, Jenny, Jamie. I really appreciate it. It was great getting to know you, and I would look forward to sharing a beer in person. That'd be great. Bye.
Bye. Thank you again so much to Kathy for coming on. We had a great time. It was so much fun. And now I'm really hungry for some tacos.
I'm hungry for some tacos and I'm craving a good view. So I think I need to get out to Utah very soon.
I mean, or Colorado to see me, but Utah too.
That's already on the list. That's already in progress, I should say. I just want to make sure everybody checks out Kathy. They have a couple websites. One's basically like her food stuff, and then she's got one that's more like her RV travel stuff. So veginspired.com. So VEG inspired.com. That's going to be where you're able to grab her cookbooks. You're able to grab links to her YouTube channels of her, making some of those delicious meals. And then it's inspiredwego.com and inspiredwego on Instagram as well. That's going to be the travel related stuff with the RV. You can see fun photos of their adventures. So make sure you check both of those out because Kathy has it all.
Oh, and those cookbooks are super easy plant-based cookbook, and the other one is 30-minute whole food plant-based cookbooks. And we will definitely link these all on our socials, which, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Jet Set Hers Pod.
And if you have anything to say, send us an email.
Yeah, you want to come on the show? Send us an email. jetsethers@gmail.com.
And because we know you love us, go on, give us a rate, give us a review.
You know what to do. See you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.